We thought it would be a simple rescue. 7 cats reported living behind an abandoned warehouse on the edge of town. The call came from a delivery driver who had been leaving scraps of food near a broken fence. He said the cats looked thin but friendly, and that one of them limped when she walked. We loaded carriers, food, traps, and blankets into the van, expecting a long afternoon but nothing unusual. The warehouse stood silent when we arrived, its windows cracked and dusted with grime. We could hear faint meows before we even stepped out of the van. Around the back, near a pile of wooden pallets, we spotted the first cat, a small gray tabby with cautious green eyes. She darted under a rusted container, watching us carefully. One by one, more faces appeared. Black, orange, calico. All thin, all hungry. We began setting humane traps baited with wet food, speaking softly to keep them calm. Within an hour, 3 cats were safely secured. They cried in confusion, but their eyes were bright, alert. Not feral, just abandoned. That's when we noticed something strange. The limping cat the driver mentioned wasn't alone. She kept walking toward a gap in the warehouse wall, disappearing inside and returning again, as if urging us to follow. We exchanged glances. Rescues often come with surprises. Carefully, we stepped through the broken doorway. The air inside was stale and heavy. Shafts of sunlight cut through holes in the roof, illuminating dust particles floating like tiny stars. At first, we saw nothing. Then we heard it, a faint, almost imperceptible squeaking sound. We moved toward the back corner, where old insulation and cardboard boxes were piled high. Beneath a torn tarp, hidden from sight, was something none of us expected. It wasn't 7 cats. It was 23, tiny kittens, barely a few days old, nestled together in makeshift nests of shredded fabric. 2 other adult cats lay protectively beside them. Their eyes were wide with fear, but they didn't hiss or swat. They simply watched us, exhausted. The limping cat walked straight to the pile and lay down beside the kittens, as if to say, "Now you see." The reality sank in quickly. 7 visible cats had led us to an entire hidden colony, mothers giving birth in silence, kittens growing up without food, without medical care, without a chance. If we had only taken the 7 and left, these fragile lives would have remained behind, unseen. We moved slowly, methodically. Soft blankets replaced the dirty tarp. One by one, kittens were gently lifted into carriers lined with warmth. They were so light it felt like holding air. Some were strong enough to meow in protest, others were too weak to make a sound. Each tiny heartbeat felt like a reminder of why we do this work. Outside, the sun was beginning to set. The sky turned shades of pink and orange as we made trip after trip to the van. The original 7 were safe. The 3 mother cats were secured with their babies. Every kitten was accounted for. When we finally closed the van doors, the warehouse no longer felt haunted. It felt empty, in the best possible way. At the rescue center, the team sprang into action. Warm formula, medical checks, flea treatments, soft bedding. The limping cat was examined first. Her injury was old but treatable. She purred through the pain medication, as if relieved the burden she carried was finally shared. Over the next few weeks, the transformation was incredible. The kittens opened their eyes wider each day, stumbling over one another in playful clumsiness. The adult cats gained weight, their coats growing shinier. Fear slowly melted into trust. Volunteers would sit quietly in their room, and soon curious noses would nudge their hands. We had gone out to rescue 7 cats. Instead, we found a hidden family of 23 more. Lives that might never have been discovered if one brave, limping cat hadn't asked us to follow her inside. Sometimes rescues aren't about what you expect to find. They're about what's waiting in the shadows, hoping someone will look a little closer. That day taught us something powerful. Compassion doesn't stop at the number you're given. It grows with every life you uncover. And somewhere in a warm foster home now, 23 little miracles are proof that when we show up for the 7 we see, we might just save the ones we didn't.